Right now, as you watch this video, a tiny cluster of 20,000 neurons sitting deep inside your brain is tracking the position of the sun. This microscopic biological clock is deciding when you feel hungry, when you feel tired, when your heart beats faster, and even when you are most likely to have a heart attack. Scientists discovered that 93% of heart attacks happen at specific times controlled entirely by this internal clock. The sun is not just lighting your world, it is programming your entire biology without you ever knowing it. What you are about to learn will change how you see every sunrise for the rest of your life. The story begins with a discovery so important that it won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2017. Three American scientists named Jeffrey Hall, Michael Hosbosh, and Michael Young uncovered the molecular machinery that makes our biological clocks tick. They found specific genes called period genes and timeless genes that create proteins, which rise and fall in perfect 24-hour cycles inside every single cell of your body. This means your liver has a clock, your heart has a clock, your skin has a clock. Even your fat cells operate on a schedule dictated by sunlight. The master conductor of this incredible orchestra lives in a region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short. This tiny structure sits right above where your optic nerves cross and receives direct signals from your eyes about light exposure. When morning sunlight enters your eyes, specialized cells, called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, detect the blue wavelengths and send electrical signals straight to the SCN. Within milliseconds, your brain knows the sun has risen and begins orchestrating thousands of biological processes. The moment sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, your SCN sends signals that suppress melatonin production almost immediately. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy, and it drops by 80% within 30 minutes of bright light exposure. Simultaneously, your adrenal glands receive signals to pump out cortisol, the hormone that wakes you up and prepares you for action. This cortisol awakening response peaks about 30 minutes after waking and gives you the energy surge you need to start your day. Without proper morning light exposure, this cortisol spike becomes weak and delayed, leaving you feeling groggy for hours. Here is where the science becomes truly fascinating. Researchers at the Salk Institute in California discovered that our circadian system affects gene expression throughout the entire body. Approximately 43% of all protein-coding genes show circadian patterns of expression. This means nearly half of your genetic activity rises and falls based on the time of day and ultimately based on sunlight exposure. Your DNA is literally responding to the sun. Your metabolism is profoundly controlled by these rhythms. Studies from 2023 published in Cell Metabolism found that the same meal eaten at breakfast versus dinner produces completely different hormonal responses. Eating in the morning when your circadian system expects food triggers efficient insulin release and proper nutrient storage. The same meal at night causes insulin resistance, higher blood sugar spikes, and increased fat storage. This explains why night shift workers have 40% higher rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes despite eating similar calories as day workers. The cardiovascular system shows remarkable circadian patterns that have life or death implications. Blood pressure naturally rises in the early morning hours as your body prepares for activity. This is controlled by your SCN communicating with the autonomous nervous system. Heart rate variability changes throughout the day based on circadian signals. Research published in The Lancet revealed that heart attacks occur most frequently between 6 and 10 in the morning when blood pressure spikes meet blood that is at its stickiest and most likely to clot. Understanding these rhythms has led doctors to prescribe certain blood pressure medications at specific times for maximum protection. Your immune system operates on a strict circadian schedule that scientists only recently understood. White blood cells circulate through your body in waves that peak and trough at predictable times. Natural killer cells that fight cancer and viruses are most active during the day and retreat to lymph nodes at night. This is why fever and inflammation often worsen at night, because your immune system shifts to different activities during darkness. Vaccines given in the morning produce stronger antibody responses than the same vaccines given in the afternoon, according to research from 2022. Sleep itself is a circadian phenomena far more complex than simply feeling tired. Your brain accumulates a chemical called adenosine throughout the day, which creates sleep pressure. However, your circadian system provides an opposing wake signal that keeps you alert during daylight hours. This explains why you can feel exhausted at 3 in the afternoon but get a second wind by 6 in the evening. The circadian wake signal is still strong at 6, but begins declining rapidly after sunset. When adenosine pressure meets declining circadian alertness around 9 or 10 at night, you experience natural sleepiness. The hormone melatonin deserves special attention because it is so widely misunderstood. Melatonin is not primarily a sleep hormone. It is a darkness hormone. Your pineal gland begins producing melatonin approximately 2 hours before your natural bedtime in a process called dim light melatonin onset. This production is extremely sensitive to light exposure. Even moderate room lighting of 100 to 200 lux can suppress melatonin by 50%. Bright bathroom lights at night can delay your circadian rhythm by 30 minutes or more. Blue light from screens is particularly disruptive because those intrinsically photosensitive cells in your eyes are most sensitive to blue wavelengths around 480 nanometers. Modern technology has created what scientists call circadian disruption at a civilization scale. The average person now receives 500 times more artificial light at night than humans experienced 100 years ago. Simultaneously, we spend 93% of our time indoors, where light levels are typically 10 to 50 times lower than outdoor daylight. This creates a devastating double problem. Too little bright light during the day fails to properly set our clocks. Too much artificial light at night prevents proper melatonin release and sleep initiation. The health consequences of circadian disruption are staggering. Research from Harvard Medical School found that circadian misalignment for just 3 weeks caused measurable increases in blood sugar, blood pressure, and inflammatory markers. Long-term disruption increases risk of depression by 40% according to large-scale studies. Cancer risk increases in night shift workers, particularly breast cancer, because melatonin has anti-tumor properties and is suppressed during night work. The World Health Organization classified night shift work as a probable carcinogen in 2019 based on accumulated evidence. Temperature regulation follows circadian patterns essential for quality sleep. Your core body temperature drops by about 1 degree Celsius during the night, reaching its lowest point around 4 in the morning. This temperature drop is necessary for deep, restorative sleep stages. Your circadian system signals this temperature decline through changes in blood vessel dilation in your skin. This is why sleeping in a cool room between 16 and 19 degrees Celsius promotes better sleep. Your body needs to dump heat through your extremities to lower core temperature. Cognitive performance shows dramatic circadian variation that has practical implications. Working memory, attention, and reaction time all peak during mid-morning to early afternoon. For most people, complex problem-solving ability peaks slightly later in the afternoon. There is a natural dip in alertness and performance between 2 and 4 in the afternoon that corresponds to a slight drop in core body temperature. This is the siesta zone that many cultures have historically recognized. Fighting through this period with caffeine disrupts natural rhythms and can impair nighttime sleep. Athletic performance is heavily influenced by circadian rhythms in ways that have changed professional sports. Muscle strength peaks in late afternoon when body temperature is highest. Reaction time is fastest between 4 and 6 in the evening. Lung function peaks in the early evening. This explains why most world records are broken in evening competitions. Research published in Current Biology found that athletic performance can vary by 26% depending on circadian timing. Teams traveling across time zones for competitions face significant disadvantages until their circadian systems adjust, which takes approximately 1 day per time zone crossed. The gut microbiome follows circadian rhythms that influence everything from digestion to mood. Different bacterial species dominate at different times a day, and this microbial rhythm depends on when you eat and when you experience light exposure. Disrupting these microbial rhythms through irregular eating or shift work alters the production of short-chain fatty acids and other metabolites that affect brain function. Researchers at the Weizmann Institute found that jet lag changes microbiome composition within 24 hours, and these changes correlate with metabolic problems. Aging accelerates when circadian rhythms become weak or misaligned. The SCN degrades as we age, reducing the amplitude of our internal clock signal. This explains why older adults often experience fragmented sleep and less robust daily rhythms. However, research suggests this degradation can be slowed or partially reversed through strong light exposure during the day and complete darkness at night. Studies in mice extended lifespan by strengthening circadian rhythms through controlled light exposure. Human longevity research increasingly points to circadian health as a key factor in healthy aging. Practical applications of this science are transforming healthcare. Chronotherapy delivers medications at times when they are most effective and least likely to cause side effects. Chemotherapy given at specific circadian times shows better tumor killing and fewer side effects in clinical trials. Surgical outcomes improve when operations are scheduled during optimal circadian windows. Psychiatric hospitals are installing bright light therapy systems because morning light exposure effectively treats depression, comparable to medication in some studies. Technology is emerging to help people optimize their circadian health. Wearable devices now track light exposure throughout the day and provide recommendations. Smart lighting systems can automatically adjust color, temperature, and brightness based on time of day. Blue light blocking glasses have become popular for evening use. though research shows complete avoidance of screens before bed remains more effective. Apps can predict your optimal sleep and wake times based on your individual chronotype and recent light exposure patterns. Your chronotype represents your genetic tendency toward morning or evening activity. About 30% of people are morning types who naturally wake early and perform best in morning hours. 20% are evening types who struggle to wake early but come alive at night. 50% fall somewhere in between. Fighting your natural chronotype causes chronic circadian misalignment. Society's standard work schedule favors morning types, putting evening types at a disadvantage for school and work performance. Despite equal ability, the science points to specific actions everyone can take. Get bright outdoor light exposure within the first hour, after waking for at least 10 minutes, and ideally 30 minutes. Sunlight, even through clouds, provides thousands of lux compared to hundreds indoors. Eat meals at consistent times, with the largest meal earlier in the day when metabolism is optimized. Dim lights progressively after sunset and eliminate screen exposure for at least 1 hour before bed. Keep your bedroom completely dark and cool. Wake at consistent times even on weekends, because sleeping in disrupts your clock as much as jet lag. Consider morning exercise, which helps anchor circadian rhythms. The relationship between humans and the sun is ancient and fundamental. For millions of years, our ancestors experienced brilliant daylight during working hours and complete darkness at night. Every cell in your body evolved, expecting this pattern. Modern life, with its artificial lighting and screen exposure, represents a radical departure that occurred in evolutionary. The epidemic of sleep disorders, metabolic disease, and mood disorders may be partly explained by circadian disruption at a population scale. The sun controls your body in ways science is still discovering. Every hormone, every gene, every cell operates on a rhythm connected to the cosmic cycle of light and dark. Understanding this connection gives you power to optimize your health, performance, and longevity. The most sophisticated technology in the universe runs on a 24-hour cycle, and that technology is you. The sun has been programming biology for billions of years, and now you understand how to work with this ancient system rather than against it.